All right. Okay. I think it's recording. How does. Fuck. Okay. Okay, I think it's recording. Hopefully the audio doesn't sound too weird, right? Um, First of all, welcome. This is not the actual podcast. This is like a bonus clip where I just sort of like inform you guys on what's gonna happen and like how I kind of want things to happen. And when I say you guys, I really just mean my one listener. Shout out to you, Grandma. Uh, Hope you're doing okay over there in Albuquerque. Anyways, um, it's man. If I'm being 100% honest, I literally just sat down for about 25 minutes to record, and the microphone wasn't picking up any audio, and I didn't realize that until the very end, and I tried to listen back to it. So I guess a lot of this is going to be me trying to remember what the hell I was just saying. I was just gonna say this is like a bonus clip. I think I just said that. Damn, dude. I gotta get in the right headspace real quick. Well, it's just it's been a crazy morning, man. It's been like I woke up a little bit early and I went to go drop something off somewhere. That's so vague. I don't want to get into it. It's not that interesting. But I just went to go drop something off, and like I go out to my car, and these guys that have been working with these leaf blowers, they were working with leaf blowers for a couple hours, right? Like that was the noise that I woke up to this morning, was people blowing leaves. So I go out to my car, and of course they're blowing leaves right around my car, like a foot around the vehicle. And so I kind of walk up, and I click my keys so the lights on my car light up, and so maybe they're like, something in their head is like, yo, the owner of this car is coming, maybe I should fuck off a little bit, right? And stop blowing leaves right next to his car. Dude, they both just kept going. It was two of them. They were just blowing these leaves, man. And I get up, and one of the guys sees me, so he shuts off his blower, but the other dude didn't see me, and so he just kept going, right? And he was like really trying to fucking blow these leaves, and I go right kind of behind him, and I open my door, and it scares him a little bit. Like I saw him, like twitched and he jumped, kind of, and then he turned his blower off. But then I got in my car, gave him a thumbs up. I'm like, dude, it's all cool. I know you didn't see me. I know you're not a dick. But as soon as I closed my car door, this gentleman turns his blower back on, and because for whatever reason starts using the blower on my vehicle, on my, like, when you go to one of those car washes, those automatic car washes, and like after the soap hits, they hit you with that wind, and then you feel the wind on your vehicle. That's what it was, man. Started using that leaf blower right at my car, dude. Like, picked it up and like did it on my hood a little bit. He was like doing the tires. Dude, what in the hell is happening, man? I couldn't even back out. Like, I had to wait for him to finish. But whatever, man. That was not even an interesting thing. It was just so strange that that had happened, man. Has anybody used a leaf blower on your car, man? Like while you were sitting inside, have they done that, dude? I don't know, right? That doesn't happen to me every day. That's the first time that's ever happened in my life, so I feel like I kind of have to share it, I guess, even though it's not interesting. Nah, you know what? Screw you, man. That's super interesting. I'd like to hear your leaf blower story. If you can think of a story about a leaf blower more interesting than that, I want to hear it. Even less interesting, man. Let's just talk blowers, blowing some leaves. But also, why are there so many leaves in April? Am I saying that word right? Is it leaves? Leaves or leafs? I'm going to keep saying whatever I want to say. How about that? Why are there so many leaves in April? Like shit still falling off of trees in April? It's almost May. and shit's still falling off the trees, man. So I guess that's kind of been my morning. And then like I come down to my kitchen and I set up the pod. I sit down, I record for about 25 minutes and find out that it has not been recording even at all. So not a word of that 25 minutes was picked up. But you know, in the last in the last one, I was kind of just talking about podcasting in general, right? Like why I decided to do it, man. And it's like, you know, you get told something enough times in your life, and I'm not saying that people have been telling me to make a podcast for my entire life. That's not true. But people have been telling me that like I'm funny. And I'm not. I hate how that kind of sounds, right? Oh, what's up, dude? I'm funny. Oh, really? You're funny? Well, make me laugh right now, Mr. Funny Guy. That's sort of what it's like. Nah, dude. People have just been telling me that, right? It's like how when beautiful people get told they're beautiful their whole life, as soon as they admit they're beautiful, everyone is like, nah, fuck you, dude. You're ugly. You're trash. How could you even say that about yourself? Whatever, man. I've been told that my entire life, right? And since I'm in like 5th grade, I've been every now and then somebody says to me that I should be a comedian. Oh my god, dude, you should be a comedian. Dude, you just hear something enough and like it sticks with you. It sticks with you, and maybe you're like, people are seeing what I don't see. And I had never really considered being a comedian right until recently. I knew that I would have loved to be a comedian for a while. Right, but to actually do it, that's something else, man. Wanting to do it and then actually trying to do it are totally different things. I've been wanting to do it for a while. Since I was about 16. Right, I was 16 years old. I was going to high school. I was in 11th grade in Albuquerque. And I had taken this creative writing class. And the only reason I signed up for that class was so that I could write raps and get better at writing rap lyrics. I was super into it back then. And come to find out, I take that class, dude, all I want to share with the class are like stories that I wrote that I thought were funny. And we used to do that every Friday. It was share day. So I'd go up to the front of the room and just share what I wrote that week. And yeah, I was just like, it was my goal to be funny and new every single week, right? Like new stuff every week. And then about halfway through the year, the creative writing class or a creative writing department sets up an open mic at the school, right? So it's a public school. It's about like 2,000 kids that graduate or whatever, like they go to the school in total. I don't know. So it'll been like a decent sized open mic if we can get enough attention on it. And, you know, I was like, that'd be cool just to go see. It'd be cool to see some of these other creative people. And then a lot of my friends, when I say a lot of them, I mean 3 people that I considered friends, talked me into it. They were like, yeah, dude, you know, we've heard a couple of your stories. Why don't you go up there? Why don't you read one of those stories, dude? We thought it was funny. Other people are going to think it's funny. So I got talked into it. I did. You know, and I show up to that open mic, and I'm looking for all my friends, and none of them were there, man. None of them were. All the people that had talked me into the open mic didn't even show up. They all had other things to do. So I'm kind of sitting there by myself for a while, and then I'm like one of the last people that they end up calling up, right? Like 4th to last or something like that. And it was great, dude. Like I remember, like about an hour before the open mic, I had typed up on like a piece of paper every word, everything that I was gonna say into the mic. I typed on a paper, right? So every pause, every like 2-second pause, all that was on the page. So I was like, I just know that if I read the page, I'll be fine because the page is funny. But I got up on stage and it was dark, and I remember like you could just see like the tops of heads a little bit. And that was super nerve-wracking. It really was. And I was so nervous that I got the paper and like I held it in front of my face so that I really couldn't see the people. And it was kind of in front of the microphone even. So I might have muffled it, but whatever, dude. I read the paper and for that 4.5 minutes that I was up there, man, people were laughing and they were enjoying the thing that I wrote. And 16-year-olds are, I guess, easy to make laugh. But whatever, dude. Being 16 and trying to get people to laugh, that's not easy. And that's something that I'm very proud of, man, that I did. And I'm not going to say, like, ever since that night, ooh, and then that was the night that changed everything. Nah, dude, there was, like, I had done one open mic about 2 months after that, and then I didn't do another mic for almost 3.5 years. But I only tell that story because I'm like, I know that I've been interested in comedy for a very long time. Since I'm very young, I've been interested in comedy. I started listening to stand-up comedy in like 4th and 5th grade. When I would listen to Dane Cook and George Lopez and Pablo Francisco. These are some of the first comedians that I really got into. And I used to listen to those stand-up albums just on repeat. And then hoping that my friends in school didn't know who those people were, I would go to school and I would tell those jokes to people. And because I just wanted to be funny, man. I've always wanted to be funny. And whether or not I am is totally subjective. I just know that I try to be. And people have kind of told me that growing up. And like I said, you hear something enough and it sticks with you. And also, dude, I'm fortunate enough to live in a time that, we have so many opportunities, man. If you want to be independent and, like, be your own boss, dude, now is the best time. Are you kidding? Like, I'm fortunate enough also to have a lifestyle that, like, I get to do this, right? I don't have a lot of other things on my plate that I worry about or, like, that take up too much of my time. I'm so fortunate that I am able to set this sort of life up, that this is what I can do with my free time. This is totally stress-free. I just always wanted to do something like this. Just be creative. And you can do it, man. Anybody could literally do it. Whether or not you are successful at it, there are so many variables to that. That's like your consistency, but also, your mental approach and the people that you have around you and all that. But anybody can do it. And I say, like, why not try, dude? I ask a lot of people, like, when I try to get to know them, and I'll ask them sometimes, like, what is your dream job? That's just a thing that I love to ask people. And a lot of these jobs that people tell me, they seem absolutely realistic and obtainable. Like, I ask people sometimes, and I'll get these answers of, well, I want to be a marketer for a baseball team, or I want to make my own commercials because I don't like the commercials that are on television or on the internet right now. All that stuff is it's obtainable. It is. That's feasible. You can make it happen. Like, we live in a time where people make their livelihood off of Instagram. They make it off of Instagram. I'm just saying, man, some dreams are absolutely not realistic. You'll talk to somebody, you'll ask them, and they'll say, well, I'd like to just get paid millions of dollars to sit around and smoke weed and watch TV. You know what? That's not going to happen. That's a nice fantasy. That's just not going to happen. Like, what is your dream job, though? What do you want to do? Most of those things are obtainable, man. Even if they seem far-fetched, like you want to go be a rapper or something, dude. It's not entirely possible that you're going to make millions and millions and, like, be a hit-releasing artist and you're going to be nominated to the Grammys and all that, but you can make a livelihood off of that if you know how to use the internet correctly and market yourself, and you care about the content and you create it with consistency and you know how to grow an audience, dude. You can live off of that. You can do that, and you can be comfortable. So I'm just telling you that you could do it. Like, if you have something that you're worried that other people are gonna make fun of you for, or you're like, nah, there's no way, dude. It's just too far fetched. It's not. It's not. Just know that it takes time and patience and consistency and dedication. I'm sorry if this is getting like preachy and emotional, dude. Nobody wants to hear a 23-year-old preach at them about like how to live life. This is my own experience, right? This is what's worked for me. This is what I feel like is going to work for me. So, and like I said, I'm just fortunate enough to be able to do this in my free time. So, if anybody at all has even listened, I'd like to thank that one person. Shout out to my grandma. I love you. I hope you're doing well in Albuquerque over there. I'll go see you soon, probably next week. Um, and this is just like a bonus. I'm hoping that every episode isn't this quiet. I want to try to figure out how to put some music and some transitions, and just make this a little bit easier on the ears, so it's not just so boring and monotone, dude. I know my voice could probably get boring after a while, which is why I've decided to work with a couple of people, and I'd like to give a quick shout out to these people. Andrea, who I work with in a restaurant, but she is one of the funniest people that I've ever met. Hands down, she's one of those people. She's a natural funny person. With like a very strong personality. She's so smart, man. She's smarter than she gives herself credit for. She's so creative, man. She's easy to talk to. I love having conversations with her. And I thought that she'd be a perfect second voice for this podcast. We do have a good dynamic. And and in the future, it's tough to say that she'll be on every episode, because she's doing this voluntary. Like out of her own will, just like in her own interest. She's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you some of my time. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. But like I said, I don't know if it's possible that she's on every episode. When I first thought of doing this, it was actually me and another guy. I want to shout out Andrew Manhouse, or Drew, as everybody else calls him, Drew. Drew has a voice made for radio, and he's one of these people that is funny without trying, right? He's that rare, I'm not going to try to be funny, I just am. And as somebody that has tried their whole life to be funny, dude, it's just so refreshing to hear this guy, man. It's such a unique perspective too. But he has a lot going on. He has a lot going on in his own life. And it's a little bit unfair of me to ask him to, give me so much of his time when he doesn't really see that much in return. But again, I would love to have him on as often as possible. Drew and I also have a good dynamic. And I think that people will think he's funny. He is funny. He is legitimately hilarious. Like, he cracks me up all the time. And to be able to share that with people, that's just, that's what this is all about. Just sharing funny. So again, I would like to get him on as often as I can. And if he can't, that's totally cool, man. As much of your time as I could get, or that you'll give, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But in the future, I think Andrea and I, we got a lot of things planned, and we're going to talk about things that we know that other people think are interesting, but we're going to do it in our own way. Man, like I said, we got a good dynamic, so, we're both those people that, you give us any topic, anything at all, and we can have a conversation about it. And I believe that it's funny. I believe that it's interesting. And so, like, I'm flipping through the articles the other day, and I see that we are trying to get people to the moon. That's crazy, right? We're trying to get people to the moon by 2024. That's so soon. And I don't mean like more astronauts, like pedestrians. Like your neighbor is gonna be in outer space. We're trying to do that. So when you see things like that, man, I want to talk about it. I know that we're not the only people that think that something like that is interesting. So we'll talk about that. That won't be the whole podcast, but just to sort of build and like have some consistent content. We'll pick things that we think are interesting. Um, we got. I like this idea a lot that Andrea's gonna blacklist something every week. She'll just sort of like hate on something and go on this tirade, because Andrea goes on terrific tirades, man. That's her own segment, and I think that that's like a great place for her to show her personality and to shine. And I mean, dude, there's so many ideas, man. We'll have like debates, we'll have guests on. I know that kind of a little more down the line that I want to have some Denver comedians come on. Because at these open mics that I go to, I see a lot of very funny people, man. I would love to sit down and just, talk to them about comedy. Maybe that'll be one-on-one. Maybe the two of us or three of us will be interviewing this comedian. But, that's a little bit down the line as far as plans for this. And, man, we're just going to grow. We're going to try to grow every week. I want to put one of these out every single Monday, starting on April 26th. So, I bet by the time you hear this, like the first episode will already be out. But, we're going to do one of these a week. I'm shooting for like 45 minutes to an hour, man. But as much of your feedback as I can get. The email is in my Instagram. If you don't know my Instagram, it's Comedian Ordinare. There's a dot in the middle, just like the podcast name, Comedian Ordinare. Emails on my Instagram, man. Like literally any feedback whatsoever. I want to hear it. I do. Hey, dude, you suck, man. It sounds like you're too far away from the mic. How come I can hear your dog breathing, dude? Why do you have this funky ass Instagram handle with that weird picture? Dude, I want to hear all that, man. Even that stuff that's like, I mean, it's kind of funny. I'd give it like a 3 out of 10. Dude, I'll take that, right? I want to hear all of it. But again, that email is in the Instagram. It is just comedianordinaire@gmail.com. But those are plans for the future, man. And I don't want to keep you too long here, because this is just all talking. It's just monotone too, dude. If you've made it this far, first of all, I doubt that you have, but you're probably asleep. Matter of fact, and if you need to put this on to fall asleep, then so be it, dude. I'll be that voice. I'll be that voice that talks and whispers in your ear as you're trying to go unconscious for a couple hours, right? Try to have some dreams, I'll be that voice, sure. This has probably gone on longer than it should have, but again, if I had the microphone set up right the first time, this probably wouldn't be. But look, dude, thanks for listening. One guy, one listener, or grandma, I appreciate it. And look forward to one of these every single week, man. So thanks so much. I really appreciate it.